Put down the wine and pick up a shovel. Today we're gonna be talking about a different type of wine. That's the wine cap mushroom. I'm gonna discuss 3 different ways that you can grow wine caps in your garden. Wine caps are easy to grow, they're fantastic for your soil, and it's an amazing way to grow a ton of gourmet edible mushrooms, either in a bed, in a mulched path, or around perennials. We're gonna start with our wine cap bed. Now, fundamentally, this is lasagna gardening, and we're gonna layer woody organic material like wood chips and cardboard along with our spawn to create an environment that the fungi love. We've chosen this spot because it's really nice and shady underneath these white pines, and that provides humidity and cooler temperatures that the mushrooms love. We already had this awesome raised bed here, and it is perfect for our purposes today. You can use whatever materials you have available, logs, maybe even used shiitake logs to build a raised bed. You want to shoot for about 15 to 20 square feet per bag of spawn, and you want to build your lasagna about 6 to 12 inches thick. Fresh wood chips are about the best food source for your wine cap mushrooms, and knowing where to source them is really important. Right beside me is the largest pile of chips I've ever seen at North Spore. Don't worry, you don't need this many. This is beautiful fresh hardwood maple here, and this makes an incredible substrate for all sorts of different mushrooms. Wine cap loves it. Wine cap, being a versatile species, can also grow on conifer, and so if that's all you have, go ahead and use it, but we do recommend at least a 50% hardwood mix if you can get it. Now, this isn't something that you can just walk into Home Depot and buy. You're gonna need to use a different service, and Chip Drop is a great service that connects arborists with you, and you can get drops like this yourself through Chip Drop. You can also connect with arborists directly, or even go to your town parks department. I've got 2 layers in here so far. I started with a couple inches of chips, and I have my layer of spawn in there. I'm just gonna continue until all my spawn is gone, always ending with the chips. Never have spawn exposed at the top. Spawn should be broken up as well as you can, but you don't need to be crazy about it. Pieces the size of about a gumball are fine. Besides watering, my bed is done. But as an optional step, adding some compost to the top layer, or really any layer, can add some nitrogen and microbial life that wine cap really enjoys. I've completed my wine cap bed, and it's looking perfect, just a bit dry. So I'm gonna water this bed in, and I'm gonna monitor the moisture levels to make sure it stays like a wet sponge. Your bed should be good to go as it is, but bugs, slugs, rodents may try and dig around in there. There's nutritious, sweet-smelling mycelium and grain in there, and as the mushrooms grow, that's really attractive. So you can add protection like chicken wire or burlap, or better yet, add a whole climate-controlled chamber on top. Use an outdoor growing chamber that'll protect things and make sure you get optimal growth. Don't be afraid to dig down into that bed and see how that mycelium is doing. You're not gonna hurt it. That's a really, really good indicator of what's happening. And it should start to be obviously myceliating in just a few weeks. Within a couple months, we could see fruiting in this bed. Sometimes it takes as long as 6 months. Along with, or instead of, inoculating a bed with wine cap, it's so easy to just inoculate a path. We're on to our second method of wine cap production, and this is our mulched path method. All you're gonna do is take this sawdust spawn, break it up, and mix it into our pre-existing garden paths, and then add some fresh chips on top. You should consider mulching paths because it's utilizing underutilized space. You're gonna get more beautiful edible mushrooms out of this. They're really easy to harvest and find as you walk through your paths, and they're holding together those wood chips and reducing erosion. That is it. Our path has been mulched with wine cap, and this wine cap should appear in 2 to 6 months. Now, these first few weeks, it's really important to keep the path wet because that moisture will help the mycelium spread, and the mycelium spreading means it can hold on to more moisture and thrive. Once it's really established, it can take care of itself. And now for our third and final method of growing wine cap mushrooms. We're at the beautiful Winslow farm, and our friend Max, the farmer here, has allowed us to plant wine cap in his blueberry patch. We're gonna show you how you can inoculate mulch around perennials like blueberries and many others, and that mulch is super beneficial to the plants, and the shade and microclimate provided by the perennials helps the wine caps thrive. We're gonna make sure to mulch away from the base of the plant. That can cause issues, and so we wanna be 3 to 6 inches away, and then we will go out to about the drip line of the plant. I'm actually surprised at how clean this looks. This is really gonna be beneficial to the plant. It's gonna help regulate temperature, hold in moisture, and the wine caps are just gonna love it. We used a super high spawn rate here. We used an entire bag around this bush, and the truth is you could probably use one bag for several bushes. What we have here, ladies and gentlemen, is a raised bed filled with mixed chips that's been colonizing since late last year, and it hasn't fruited yet, but finally now we're seeing young, beautiful wine caps here. They're just perfect, and they've started to grow right where I disturbed the surface of the bed. What this tells me is that sometimes if you're not seeing growth, it may be beneficial to disturb the surface of your bed. Break it up a little bit. There's plenty of mycelium in there. It'll recolonize, and it actually may activate your mushrooms. So just looking in this bed and looking at some of the chips that are deep down, you can see that they're just covered in mycelium. And all that mycelium is secreting enzymes that break down the material and digest it over the next year as mushrooms grow especially, but even when they're not growing, just as the mycelium is surviving, it's breaking this material down into what's eventually going to be a really good soil for plants. So watching it break down is really fascinating, and it would be really cool to have a side-by-side bed that isn't inoculated and compare the rates of decomposition. I would rather eat this one. This one is more likely to be kind of pithy and woody. It's more likely to have bug damage, and it's just gonna have a much earthier, more intense flavor, whereas this will be more mild and versatile. When you harvest your mushrooms, it's a good idea to bring a brush with you and clean the mushrooms off as much as possible. You can also use your knife to scrape off chips and debris that has become embedded in the mushrooms and sort of carve that stuff away. Well, folks, that's it. Our wine caps are ready to go into the fridge or ready to go into the frying pan. You know now how to get them to grow, how long to wait, how to take care of it, how to harvest, how to clean them and prep them, and the rest is up to you. So if you want to learn more, check out our website, explore. There's so much there. Check out our YouTube. You know we've got Instagram. We've got the best customer service team around that'll be happy to answer your questions. I sincerely hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time.